Hey everybody, this is Mag, aka McGee, and today I'm bringing you some of the infected. Now, I've been working on this build for about 3 weeks now. 120 in-game days, and two of those days was just waiting for the winter to end, and then I needed the rain to begin so I could save during the rain because it seems that each time you join the game, sometimes within like 5 to 20 minutes, it'll start raining again, and it always catches me right in the middle of a showcasing. So I mean, how do you like the build here? 120 days. No, I'm kidding. No. Let's get on over here to this one and everything. It's a doozy. I like it. I love it. It turned out nice. I used some trees on it. Now, I play Sons of the Forest, and I came across this one thing like a couple of years ago, and I was like, oh, that would make an interesting build for Sons of the Forest. But then I was like, I started graphically taking it apart and everything, and I was like, wow, that kind of fits the infected on the dimensions and everything. So I think we should just go for it. And I think it turned out pretty nice. It's a Senbo Resort. It's located in China, and yeah, it's a pretty cool looking place. They got like multiple stacks of these everywhere, and they utilize the trees on some of their decking and everything. Now, I wish I could have used a lot more trees, but unfortunately, none of the trees lined up exactly where they were supposed to go. And then I've got I guess you could say a double stacker or a triple stacker, because I mean, I've got like Mike's place over there, and then I've got this nice little place that I created over here on my left that just kind of goes with my Senbo Resort. So let's get into the Senbo Resort. And over here is just my entry point. Of course, I got this lighting, and I use the pipe relays and everything to kind of make like brackets for lights or brackets for plants. And what you can do is just stick a ceiling like on there and just stick them to like the ceiling top. And you'll get like a perfect line every time. Now these are a little bit lower than like the ceiling because I actually put up its own foundation. Now there is a lot of self-manipulation inside of this. It's not strictly built. I mean, I am using just free build, no mods, no nothing like that. And yeah. So let's get more in. And here's my little walkway. Like I said, it's a resort. We got all these nice little decorative things going out. And I've got it nicely lit up. I've got these things called pole lighting. I put some lights inside of the poles. And I got that going around. But it is fully efficient. I do have my rock collection just right along here, and my clay collection along here, and of course the infamous cement mixing station. I love that thing. And yeah, just storage and everything, and of course some beautiful seating. Like I said, it's a resort. I mean, you gotta have nice decorative things going along. But we'll go ahead and go down before we go inside any of the cabins here. And here we have a bar. I made it look like, we took over the place, and the bar kind of turned out to be our little slaughter area where we can kind of clean up and keep all of our refrigerants going. And a nice milling station. Now, there's this rock, and I could not for the life of me take this rock out. I love the placement for it, and it's like right in the middle, smack dab. So I just put some log holders around it, did my, infamous little milling station and the stacking. Got some storage and, made it look like, oh, we do some hardware work over here. And, yeah, and got my pump house. Now, funny thing about that pump house is that the cave is located right over there, and the one right across from it is like right over there. And if you go inside that cave and go down the tunnel and you go towards that big old pond or whatever that's in there, if you notice that I can kind of tell where everything is. I've got a great visual map inside my head. But right here, this comes down inside of the cave, just like right outside that first little entry point that you go towards that large water pool. Yeah, it's weird. And then some of these, actually, it would have to be these are sticking through the ground there as well, right around the corner. So it's like this is on the left side of that entrance, and this is on the right side of that entrance. It's really really crazy. I mean, it could be these. I do have foundations down underneath this, but a lot of this doesn't have foundation. It's just ceiling work to kind of look like that Senbo, stilted look on the buildings. And yeah, it's just nice and decorative. Now we can just go ahead and go on up and look at my next area. And this is where I did all my ore work, and I've got this low hanging ceiling. Of course, I put my, things on the ground, stacked them up, put them also up through the ceiling. It just kind of cleans it up a little bit, self-manipulation. And my smelting station. I've got aluminum out here, it doesn't weather like the rest of them, so these are staying up out of the rain. And lead, same thing. So got a nice little brick drying area. I figured on the bricks and the glass, I could just use the little side stacks here. And then I've got a nice little hangout up here on that main deck with the two trees. And the lights are a little crooked. It was first just an idea, but once you get something stuck inside the, I guess you could say the framework or the meshwork of this tree, you can no longer reach it. Like it is non-existent. Even though you can touch it to another thing, you just cannot actually read it, I guess you could say in a way. So they're a little longer than I wanted, and they're a little crooked, but it was first just the idea going out and kind of got stuck with it. Now, the only building we are going to first go inside of is this one right here, and it is the community bathroom. So instead of everybody having their own restrooms, we have a community bathroom here. Own little lighting, we got over here, pretend these are mirrors or whatever you want. And then, of course, we've got toilets inside of each stall. So, ta-da! Little waiting area just in case you're having to wait out for the bath. And there's another bath just located right here. And a way to keep it warm. Gotta stay warm. It is a nice little hilly area. It does get cold up here. And we got a little lookout point. Now, the roofs, if you notice that the roof is not a two-stacked roof, I did do its own little foundation work, and that is actually what these skirts are, is for the roof's secondary leveling. So if you have a full roof piece height under your floor level, you can get a half-stack roof that's perfectly, you know, flush with the other one. And then if you want to get like a two-floor stack, you'll have to put this level up above it. So yeah, there's that. It's quite a bit of work. And then if you also notice on my roofs, they overhang instead of being flush with the wall. What I'll do there is I'll stick a pole on the outside, work a ceiling to it, stick another pole, and then I'll work my roof off of those poles. So ergos, that is the community restroom. And we'll go along. And like I said, it's just got plenty of storage over here. I like this one. This one turned out really great. And I love my little step-ups. I had to go down a little bit because it was just too much. I could walk under it, but it's like your hair skimming that surface, and it's just like that icky feeling if you've ever been inside of a cellar. So, like, yeah. And here we are, coming up to the next level. Got my man pictures at my man station, Then over here, we've got the chemistry station set up, everything that's needed to flow with it, and a normal crafting area. Right across is the advanced, you could just touch and go. And some storage and whatnot. And yeah, that's about it. And then up here is my main cabin. And I got some decoration going up here. And yeah, main cabin. So we go in, got a nice little living section. You can see the TV over here, which is actually in the bedroom. A nice little lookout point here. Sees everything. This one turned out good. I love it. Amazing. And of course the roof's just kind of barely come up. But that was from literally being, I think it's like 1.5 stories up above the next section. So therefore this is going to end up sticking through it. Let's see, yeah, nice little kitchenette. Got my refrigerator right here. Of course, everything's got its own self-lighting. And at the moment, currently, these things stick out on this layer instead, on the beamwork on the wall, instead of like the actual wall. So what I do here is I'll take a storage container and I will just line it up right here with like that line, or I'll line it up right here. Well, not with that line. It'll be literally with these little beams that kind of like stick out, or these pillars, poles, these studs. And then I'll just stick the light fixture to it and then put the wall back up. And if you can't touch the light fixture when you put the wall back up, all you got to do at that point is just take and I can just do a little quick thing. I'm not going to save this. So yeah, you could just take this thing, stick it to your box, and once you get it stuck to your box, there it is. So if you can't reach it through the box or through the wall, you can just take and pick her up and stick her right back to herself. And what that does is a full plate forward each time, and then it'll get it right where you need it. But otherwise, you're gonna have that right there. It's not too appealing there. So let's move on ahead. And yeah, I like my little cabins. There's two different types of cabins. These are, of course, repeating, a little mirror image, opposite, you know, long balconies. And of course, they just have their own little lookouts everywhere. Uh, the second looking one is this one right here, and it's just got a side living room. Got another kitchenette. They remain pretty much the same. And then just the bedrooms back here. Got a nice little seating area. And it has these small little balconies that overlook. Oh, I love these. Took me probably about 3 hours to kind of figure out a different, you know, concept, but keeping the same kitchen layout. Kind of like, you know, hotels, motels do. They just rinse and repeat. The budget friendly. And here we are. And we go just along. Yeah, they're just all repeating to each other. Just mirror imaged if it's, you know, got this window on that side or the window on the other side. And just the overlooking balconies. Now, that is for the resort. All my little workstations. They turned out nice. And like I said, I have, you know, these little plant hangers. Pipe relays, put a ceiling up, follow it along the ceiling, and bam, straight line. Rinse and repeat. Now, we're going to go ahead and look right there. See, I got Mike set up. Looks like he's hard at work too right now. That's nice. He's awesome. Let's go along. Go over here, and this is my restaurant, and it goes with the resort. It's got the same, you know, little balcony kind of style and everything, but of course the building is just one level. And here we are in this beginning waiting area. Got some seating and everything. Yep, decorations. It is a restaurant. Now this is fully practical. This is not efficient, nothing. Just literally a restaurant. Now, say you came here, you know, come inside and you've got reception. And over here, you've got your waiting area. And of course, with any restaurant, you've got to have a restroom. I mean, yeah. And then, of course, go along over here, go behind the desk. I just made this little room that just kind of sectioned it off as a little office over here. Of course, it's a little bit of a pole's worth, like less than an actual wall, which allowed me to have this little overhanging ridge, and I just made it look like it was a light box, and it turned out nice. I love it. Same thing here. Bro, we don't have beams. I made my own beam. Check it out. So yeah, it looks okay. I could slightly move this pole over just halfway to the left by working one next to it, working one out, and then working it 6 ways back in. So it's a little hellish doing it, but it can be done. I mean, I did it with these poles to kind of get them a little bit more centered to the room. Instead of them being left or right, they are fully centered. And yeah, my seating, my dining. Now this took me probably about 2 hours to figure out how I wanted to lay the tables because it's kind of a catty-cornered room. And working with that is a little hard, especially when you're working with rectangular tables rather than a square table, which is why a lot of restaurants like to choose the square tables because you can stack them next to each other and create a longer length. And then at the same time, if you need it, you can separate them. Again, budget friendly. So here we are, and we're going along. We've got a nice little back area right here. We've got this going out to the back deck. First, we'll go over here to the waitress station. This is where the guys or the girls are filling out your drinks, keeping their hands clean. Oh, yeah. And then the kitchen. And yeah, we got some storage. Nice big old freezer here. We've got a nice little oven for bacon. And we got our stoves. Now, you do a lot of cooking in a restaurant. You got more than one stove. I worked in a little tiny little burger shop and everything. We had three. So, yeah. And here we are. Gonna go along. And this is my outer deck. Now, I wanted this concept with the greenhouse, like directly in the center. Everybody's overlooking it. It is the focal point. But I originally wanted to do like a deck where there was a deck overlooking and then it had like a little bit of a section underneath for like seating, but it didn't quite turn out. I am still happy how it turned. Instead, I just added two gazebos, my nice little chill pads around the plant decks, and then I have some side chill areas up against the walls. And yeah, just nice and decorative. Some of this stuff is like setting on a different layer underneath the ground, make it shorter, a little differentiated, a little more appealing. Get some of my leaves up out of the tables too. And yeah, I like this one. Turned out pretty nice. Especially these little pads and everything. They took me quite a bit to build. These poles are offset instead of being right here where you can see the top of them. I've moved them over, and with each one of them, they're moved over by 1.5 poles. So again, that's that one direction forward, one direction back, and six back in forward. So it's really an odd concept, but it can be done. And again, poles usually sit right here, and we've moved them to adjust, and they are nice and neat. Yes, I'm a little anal retentive, but I mean, it looks, I mean, like pretty darn awesome. Now, my roof, of course, we don't have any quarter pieces for the roof, half pieces for the roof, so there are some little areas that are just a little wonky. Like right here, I really got rid of these pieces and I put in those really long sloped pieces so it wasn't so much brown sticking out. But I really did not want them because they were jutting out just so badly right here. And it just did not provide that clean look. So we've kind of moved them over, situated them out and back. And this thing actually even come forward by, I think it's like a half and a full log. But yeah, I think it looks, I don't know, looks pretty nice. I love my dining area. I love my waiting area. I like my restaurant all the way around. Looks very efficient for a restaurant, very practical. And yeah, it's just like how everything turned out. And those little pads, they look very comfy, very secluded. Wanted to seem like they were inviting, but had their own separation. And then the greenhouse, I just come in here and put these up. And another thing on that is if you ever have any problems putting stuff on like the roof pieces, these buildings, you can actually put a relay down, for instance, and you can stick pretty much anything to them, especially say like the plants, like you can stick them to them and you can just have your plant hanging wherever you want. So there is that tidbit of information for you. And yeah, just nice decking all the way around. Right here, I wanted to take and knock this out and build like a little tiki bar that kind of overlooked the greenhouse and everything. I thought that would be awesome, but I spent so much time on this build. I think it's time to just move her out and move along. So, and then these plants, yeah. So you try to get the plants that you want, and you just end up with this mess of a mess of a mess. And the odd thing about it is, I'm pretty sure that I deleted all these when I was done, did a full walk around, and then I went and worked on Steve's house. Got a little burned out over here. And yeah, so sometimes I think some of this stuff has a mind of its own and it's like caching experiences and its memory of being there and comes back. So don't know what's going on there. But let's just move on. And yeah, that was the restaurant for you. Very lit up, nice and pretty, nice and you know, balanced, I would like to say. Gonna go along, and now we're gonna check out Mike's house. Now, Mike's house, it's pretty cool. I went ahead and put him inside of his own little build, his own little house. So his house is like his bedroom within his house. So here we are. We've got my barn. I've got to mess with the barn every single time, and this is the one that I come up with a nice little Dutch roof and everything. And it's a little half stack. It's got plenty of room to walk up underneath. And over here, say we've got a nice little outlet, a nice little fence area to go out there, and here they are. Neat thing about this is if you leave this roof like hanging out past the wall, you can touch it anytime you want. So yeah. And yep, just a nice little garden area. Made it look like this is part of their door and their gate. And then we go along, and here's a gate just open. And then we're going to go now along into Mike's. Now, Mike's got a nice area. And I like how it turned out. It's just, I like to kind of manipulate the roofs, try to see what I can do, what I can't do, and stuff like that. And on this one, now, part of this was hanging out through the ceiling, so this is actually a full bump up or full floor level up from the rest of the roof. And it actually doesn't look too bad. It kind of looks like that professional kind of build where you've got one roof that intercedes another roof, and then the other one just kind of continues along underneath it for that aesthetic look. And then I've got over here his garage. And I just like to mess around with the buildings and see what I can manipulate. Again, what I can do. So this one didn't turn out too bad either. And it's just a nice little cute, cozy garage for Mike over here, you know. He's got a nice little workstation of his own, you know. He does some metal works and storage and whatnot. I mean, come on. And we'll go along over here and we'll go ahead and go inside Mike's house now. But yeah, here's the porch. Didn't turn out too bad. These walls are way thinner than, I don't know, maybe they should be. Or if we could get a beam, oh, it'd be so nice. It would clean up like so much stuff instead of having this like being the ending point on like your roof ledge and have like a clean beam. Magnificent. So here we are inside. And of course you can see how I do my lighting. And how I got the roofs inside and all of that. And what I like to do is just put a relay down, stick it to the roof underneath the light, and just run everything along. Kind of like an actual electrician might do inside of the house, or what I may have done inside of my own house. But you know, hey. But yeah, here's this living room. I went ahead and utilized the ingot storage for some bookshelving. Just kind of clean up that wall a little bit. I can't hang anything like on it per se because it's a little off level and whatnot. So it just looked a little tacky. So if you notice, this is not the center point, but this is the actual center point of the room because this is Mike's room. Now, Mike's house is a little bit off scale to the actual scale of our building. So what I have here is his wall, actually, my wall goes inside his wall sticks out. But I needed to hang these pictures up. So I just brought in another foundation, stuck a wall on top of that, basically at the same level, and then created a wall for the center focal point of the living room. Yeah, like I said, there is a lot of self-manipulation in my builds. So yeah. And then just a nice comfy bathroom. right off the living room. So Mike's bedroom, of course, set up just like Mike's bedroom. Uh, got a little bunny though this time. And over here, just more decoration. We've got this is electrical. We can put a clothes rack, whatever you want. It's a closet. And over here, dining. And of course, like I said, that rain. I try to beat it every time. 25 minutes into loading a game, bam, rain. So the kitchen, I like how the kitchen turned out. It's got that little, island that I did inside my other build. You just come up with some techniques, kind of mix and match and keep them going. Especially when you're kind of limited on some of the things that you can build with. You kind of learn to rinse and repeat, but in maybe a different order or fashion, just so it kind of looks a little different and not so redundant. And we are, but yep, that's Mike's house. He's got a nice little back porch, goes off. And then, of course, his barn. He's got his own greenhouse up here. I probably need to reduce that sound on the rain. And, yeah. So here we are inside his storage. Now, did anybody ever know that Mike likes to collect things? Like, loads of things, random things. It doesn't matter what it is. It's a thing. Mike's got it. No. No. But here we are. It's the normal, storage that you need for your vegetables or, fruits, vegetables, all that. Your foods. So, yeah, you don't really need any more than this. Would be overkill. I mean, you kind of can't quite keep up with it and eat it at the same time and go looting and deal with Mike, conversating with him, hanging out with him. Mike takes a lot of time. So, but yeah, this is pretty much my version of this with Resort is, hey, we found it, we took it over, we even took over the restaurant, and Mike joined me and built his own thing, his own little empire off over here to the side. Or even, you could say, hey, he's the farmer out here in the forest, and he's the one that delivers all the fresh fruits and whatnot to everybody. And, kind of wondering where he's going with that pumpkin there. I don't remember putting any pumpkin stands anywhere, but over there. So, I guess, that's that. So, yeah, I mean, y'all have any thoughts, questions, comments, anything like that? I mean, literally anything at all, shoot down below. I'm gonna shoot back. And that should be about it. So, until the next one, goodbye.